Coming up on Mountain News this morning, police brutality protesters and police supporters are reaching some common ground in Louisville. And one Kentucky couple is now wearing ankle bracelets after one of them tested positive for COVID-19 and refused to sign a self-quarantine agreement.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News This Morning.
Good morning. Your time is 4 minutes after 5:30 on this Monday, July the 20th. I'm Will Puckett. Thank you for tuning in to Mountain News this morning. Yesterday, a handful of us got in on a little rain action, and Brandon said we could see some of that again this afternoon, and some of them may be a little bit strong. Let's bring him in this morning to tell us exactly what should we expect and the timing on all that. Brandon, good morning.
Good morning, Will. And again, it's just going to be one of those days where it starts off dry, then it gets hot, and then the storms fire. So I think at the heat of the day this afternoon will be your best chance to see some of those stronger storms, but we'll track them out for you, give you some timings on that here in just a few minutes. But we take a look at our temperatures this morning. Yep, starting this week, just like last week, ended in the 70s for morning lows, and we're seeing 160-degree reading there, 68 in Williamsburg. Our hot spot this morning is Prestonsburg at 77. Yes, it is 5:30 in the morning, and it's 77 in Prestonsburg. That's a few degrees cooler in some spots this morning, like Williamsburg. That's really the only spot. It's basically right where it was yesterday in a lot of areas, but a couple of degrees warmer in some spots like Middlesboro, Harlan, Hazard, Prestonsburg, and Logan. We're taking a look at our 12-hour planner, and it's going to climb quickly today once the sunshine gets out from behind the fog. If you're seeing that this morning, into the 70s by 9 o'clock, into the upper 80s by 2 o'clock this afternoon, and topping out at 92 later this afternoon, with those chances for thunderstorms starting to increase in scattered form. We'll talk more about that coming up here in just a few minutes. Will?
All righty, Brandon, we'll be back with you. Thank you. A Barberville man was arrested Saturday night after being accused of kidnapping. Officials from Kentucky State Police say a 12-year-old girl was riding her bicycle on Whitesburg Hollow Road when she was approached by 70-year-old Benny Hammonds in his vehicle. Hammonds is then accused of sexually assaulting the girl while in the vehicle. Police say Hammonds took the wheel and drove into a ditch when officers found him. Hammonds was arrested and charged with the kidnapping of a minor and first-degree rape. He is being held in the Knox County Detention Center. Well, a Jackson County man is behind bars after being accused of murdering his wife. Kentucky State Police got a call yesterday morning after human remains were found at a home off of Highway 2004. Detectives at the scene determined the remains were 52-year-old Peggy Van Winkle. After the initial investigation, police say they believe Van Winkle and her husband, 59-year-old Ferris Van Winkle, were arguing when Ferris shot his wife to death with a gun. Ferris Van Winkle is charged with murder, abuse of a corpse, and tampering with physical evidence. He was taken to the Jackson County Detention Center. Well, activists are following up on a series of arrests made during a protest at the state attorney general's house in Louisville. Last week, police took 87 people into custody for staging a demonstration on Daniel Cameron's front lawn. Days later, prosecutors dropped their charges. Now, the Kentucky Alliance Against Racist and Political Repression is advocating on behalf of the protesters.
We are calling for justice, and we are still met with police brutality, and we are still met with, a culture of the police department that just does not care about everyone.
Again, 87 people were facing felony charges. The Alliance claims police denied the group food, hygiene products, and PPE while they were in custody. Well, it was a busy day in Louisville on Sunday as hundreds of people gathered at the River City FOP Lodge for a Back the Blue rally in support of police officers. A group of counter-protesters were nearby as well. Faith King has the details.
Hundreds of people gathered Sunday afternoon for a Back the Blue rally in support of police officers.
If you're here for any other reason, if you don't support the police, then consider this your legal notice that you're trespassing. And now would be the time to go.
And right across the street, counter-protesters with questions for officers.
Can you explain how y'all broke into the wrong house, shot the wrong person, while looking for somebody who was already under arrest?
Back inside, people sang the national anthem. Praying.
So I'm praying right now for every member of this rally right now.
And introduced 3 men who created a human body chain to protect an officer one night during a protest in downtown Louisville.
I'm beyond thankful, and I'm going to do my best to stop myself from crying up here.
We held our people accountable. Accountability is the key word here for me.
Julian Dela Cruz was one of those men who sacrificed his safety to protect Officer Henshaw. He says that's what he wants to see from police officers, holding other officers accountable when they're wrong.
If you're not holding your own people accountable, to be honest, you might as well call yourself a gang. You're protecting your own, and that's what we don't want.
And while there are differences in opinions, the hundreds of demonstrators at River City FOP Lodge Sunday say they will continue to back the blue.
You got good cops, you got some bad, but you got that in anything. And the good outweighs the bad.
And even after the event, people continued to chant on both sides of the street. In Louisville, Faith King, Wave 3 News.
Well, a Kentucky couple is now wearing ankle bracelets after a run-in with the local health department. Elizabeth Lynn Scott tested positive for COVID-19 in Hardin County last weekend. The health department asked her and her husband to sign quarantine papers, and they refused. Days later, law enforcement showed up at their door.
Open up the door, there's like 8 different people, 5 different cars. I'm like, what the heck's going on? This guy's in a suit with a mask. It's the health department guy, and they have 3 papers for us, for me, her, and my dog.
If the Lynn Scotts travel more than 200 feet, their ankle bracelets will alert law enforcement. Elizabeth says she never said she wouldn't quarantine. She just disagreed with the language in the papers. She felt she should be allowed to make her own judgment in the case of an emergency. Well, reports of people getting COVID-19 twice are rare, but experts say it is not impossible. In fact, one Lexington man says he is now recovering from the virus a second time. Shelby Smithson has his story.
We never think that it's going to happen to us. We don't think that it's real until it is real.
Kelvin Hernandez is one of thousands of Kentuckians who tested positive for COVID-19. In March, it was this test result that made it real for him.
I felt like I was in a car accident. Like it was just really intense pain and aches in my bones and muscles. And I felt like I was preparing for what I thought was going to be my death. I didn't know anybody who had ever had it. Nobody really understands it. I didn't know what to expect.
Hernandez quarantined at home, feeling sick for nearly a month before he started to recover. Once he was well, he says he used his experience to educate others, reaching out to the Hispanic community especially to help those who needed to get tested and deliver food to those who were already self-isolating. It was in the midst of that work, Hernandez started noticing some familiar symptoms.
I started feeling like really tired and just kind of achy, and even then I was like, okay, I've already had it, and I can't get it again. I'm not going to get it again. It's not a big deal.
But in July, he became one of very few who tested positive again.
But this is incredibly rare. It's something that it's not to be expected as the normal course with COVID. But it's again, at this point, we don't know how long any type of immunity does last with COVID-19.
Hernandez says the second time he only felt sick for about 2 weeks, but his breathing problems were worse. And while it's been several months since his first diagnosis, there's still just as many questions the second time around. In Lexington, Shelby Smithson, WKYT.
Now, Hernandez is hoping to use his story to encourage everyone to wear a mask. Well, preparations for the school year are underway during our new normal. State school leaders will hold a virtual conference later today to make plans for the fall. On Thursday, the Fayette County School District will share its vision for the upcoming semester, which could help other districts still weighing their options. Tyler Murray, the Fayette County Board of Education member, says he knows nothing replaces in-person instruction, but he says he will not support the return to school unless he's sure it can be done safely.
2 months from now or 3 months from now sitting down with you talking about the death of a student or a staff member because we didn't get this right.
Many school districts have already made major decisions. We will keep you updated on school board plans here in the mountains as those become available. Well, a Kentucky photographer is offering free services to help people who are out of work because of the pandemic. Gary Berrigan is joining a nationwide effort to help 10,000 unemployed workers get professional headshots. He operates mostly in the Louisville area. His personal experiences with unemployment motivated him to join the movement.
A lot of people are down and out, especially if they lost their jobs over COVID-19. So what we want to do is pay it forward and give it back to the community and provide them a bit of hope with a professional headshot to help put that first foot forward into getting back into the job market.
More than 200 photographers are participating in the project. All photo shoots will take place this Wednesday. Well, just ahead on Mountain News this morning, another band joins the growing list of artists telling President Trump to stop using their music.
Forecast continues to stay hot and humid for the next couple of days, but the thing we're concerned about today is the possibility for some strong storms this afternoon. I'll track them for you coming up.